Hi, Jennifer Nicely here with Pinnacle Real Estate Academy. I am at the gorgeous Atalaya Castle in the Huntington Beach State Park in Murrells Inlet, South Carolina. Today I wanted to talk to you about the seller's disclosure and the purpose of the seller's disclosure and how to fill it out and what does it mean and what is your role as a real estate agent versus your role as a seller. Now, the seller's disclosure is a 5-page document that has to be filled out by law by the seller, not by the listing agent. The listing agent should not even write on this document, just so that there's not any question of who actually filled it out. Now, in the seller's disclosure, the first page of the 5 pages is nothing but instructions on how to fill out the next 4. So, have your seller read through that first page and explain it to them. The next 4 pages are questions about what the seller knows about their property. For example, do you know if the roof is leaking? Is the roof in good condition? How old is the roof? How about the plumbing equipment? What is it made out of? Is it in good condition? The electrical, the structural, the windows, etc. It goes on for 5 pages and also includes the homeowners association and particular questions about what it does and how much it is and what it covers. Now, this document is very important for your sellers to fill out truthfully and honestly. Now, the law understands that homeowners are not professionals in roofing or professionals in siding, okay? But what the law says is if that homeowner knows that roof is leaking, they have to truthfully answer that question and write it down. If they write down that no, the roof is not leaking and it is in good condition, and the buyer finds out later that no, it's not in good condition and the seller knew about it, that's when the seller's getting in trouble. Now, if the seller really did not know about it because there's no leaks on the ceiling, there's no shingles falling off of the roof, and they put no, that there's nothing wrong with it, that it's in good condition, then the seller's not going to be in trouble. They're only going to be in trouble when they deliberately lie about the condition of the property. Now, it's very, very important that you as real estate agents do not touch this document. You do not suggest what to put on this document. If you have a 92-year-old seller who doesn't know if their hot water heater is gas or electric, you cannot find out for them. They've got to bring the family member and fill that out. Never, ever, ever suggest an answer or fill out this document for your seller. Now, there are 3 different columns on the right side of this document. Column 1 says yes, column 2 says no, column 3 says no representation. Now, column yes says yes, I do know that there's something wrong with it. And if you were to check that box, the seller needs to provide documentation of whatever that material fact was that they disclosed. So let's say they say yes, the roof is leaking, the roof is in bad shape. Then the best thing to do is to hire a roofer to come in, take a look at it, fill out some documentation, and attach that documentation to the seller's disclosure. If the seller checks no, there's nothing wrong with the roof, and they legitimately know nothing's wrong with the roof, then they can just leave that box checked no. Now, there's a 3rd column. 3rd column says no representation. I don't like this column personally. I don't think that it should exist. But when the boxes are checked under no representation, that does not mean the seller is allowed to check that and plead fifth. The seller is still required by law to disclose what they know. The only time I think that the no representation checkbox is an okay idea to do is when that seller is exempt from signing the seller's disclosure. And there are some exemptions: bank-owned properties, foreclosures, tax sale, new construction. None of those have to have a seller's disclosure, but the resales do. So in that case, if I'm representing a builder that just built this home, I would have him check no representation all the way down, and right at the top of the form, seller is exempt from filling out this disclosure. Other than that, I don't recommend checking the no representation box because all it does is throw up red flags for the buyer to say, What's wrong with the property? What are they not telling me? Now, if you, the agent, know that the seller is checking the box no, when they should be checking the box yes, that something's wrong, then you need to start asking questions. You can't sit there and say, Mr. and Miss Seller, you need to be checking yes. But you need to say, okay, I noticed that you checked no on the roof, that there aren't any issues with the roof, but can you tell me about this stain on the ceiling? What's going on here? How about the couple of shingles I saw that were dangling by the edge on the outside? What, can you tell me anything about that? Well, the homeowner may say, yeah, actually we just got it repaired, so nothing's wrong with it. That's when we're going to step up as agents and say, okay, can you give me that documentation so we can provide it with a seller's disclosure? Make sure at all times that seller is telling the buyer the honest truth of the condition of the property as they know it. Now, as realtors, I highly recommend that once this document is filled out and signed by the sellers, that you upload it to the MLS once you list that home under the documents section. This is going to save you time in the future and save you from headaches in the future, so that when a buyer's agent calls and needs a copy of it, you can just send them to the MLS and they can download it themselves, instead of you going back to the office, scanning it in, and emailing it. If you have any questions, feel free to give us a call. Contact us at pinnaclerealestateacademy.com.